Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming out. Wanted to take a few minutes to clear up some information, maybe some misinformation that's been going on today regarding an incident that occurred this morning involving some arrests with both agents from ICE and then APD was present as well during this incident. And again, this has garnered a lot of attention today, and I want to make sure that we make it perfectly clear exactly what happened. This incident began at 6:05 a.m. this morning, and at this point, Austin police officers were called to the 13,000 block of North US 183 on an officer needs assistance. Our 911 call center received a call from an ICE agent letting us know that a fellow ICE agent was in the process of trying to arrest someone and there was some level of a fight of resistance going on. Comments made during this call by this ICE agent referred to the suspect was touching his gun, grabbing his gun, pulling on his gun. There were several different descriptions going, and so we dispatched this as an officer needs assistance, not knowing what was going on. We were not a part of that initial stop. We were not aware that there was an operation going on. So our officers responded to an officer needs assistance. While we were en route to that officer needs assistance, we were still in contact with the partner agent from ICE, and we started to then get information that, okay, he now had the suspect in custody. So at that point, we slowed our responding officers' response down, but we still had our officers respond just in case the situation was not yet in hand. When our officers did arrive, there were several agents from ICE on scene. There was the individual that was under arrest, and there was a small gathering of 4 or 5 individuals that was present also. And it was alleged that these individuals had been somewhat disruptive or something while the agent was trying to effect the arrest, so they asked our officers to identify 2 of the females that were in this group. Our officers went over and they identified the 2 females that ICE had identified. Both females were found to have warrants for their arrest for open container. These were Class C offenses. These were warrants for their arrest, and our officers did in fact arrest the 2 females that were present for those warrants. One of them was transported to the Travis County Jail and booked on her warrant. The other one, due to a pre-existing medical condition, was taken to the hospital first. Had nothing to do with the arrest. There was no force during the arrest. It was a pre-existing medical condition, and she was then transported to Travis County as well. There have been reports throughout the day that we were part of this operation, we were present when it happened, and that is just not correct. This was a situation where ICE agents, federal agents were here conducting an operation. They have full jurisdiction and they are allowed to do that, and they got themselves in a circumstance where they needed help. And we will always help a fellow officer, especially when we're receiving the type of reports that we received today, that subjects were touching, pulling, grabbing, whatever it was, towards that agent's weapon. So the ICE agents took the driver into custody, and for any questions specific to the stop itself, the reasons for the stop, the charges out of the stop, you will have to go to ICE because we do not have that information. Again, we were not a part of this operation. We were there responding to an officer needs assistance. I think I want to get now maybe to another important conversation we need to have. This obviously has created a level of concern and heightened fear in our immigrant community. I've heard a lot of the talk that's going on in the community, and that the concern is growing. The Austin Police Department remains committed to keeping our community safe for all of our residents, regardless of your citizenship status. We are not concerned about citizenship status. We are concerned about criminal activity. As we have said before, and we will continue to say, if you are in Austin and you're committing crime, then yes, you need to worry about the Austin Police Department coming after you. If you are in Austin and you are not committing crime, then that is not a concern you need to have. So it's very important that we don't lose the trust that we have worked so hard to build over the years with our community, regardless of their citizenship status in this day and age. And so I just want to really reach out to the immigrant community and again reaffirm that we are here for you as we are for everybody else in our community, and that we want you to come forward if you have information about crime, if it's crime in your neighborhood, if it's crime that you are a witness to, or if you yourself have been the victim of crime, it is important that you come forward and you let us know, because that is the only way we can keep our community safe for everyone. And again, we are not concerned about your citizenship status. We are concerned about public safety. And I've said this before, and I will say it again. Our officers are focused on crime because time spent enforcing federal civil immigration law is time not spent fighting crime and keeping our community safe. So with that, I just wanted to clear up again what had happened earlier this morning, what the involvement was of APD, and our continued stance to keep this community safe for all residents.
So I understand you can't talk about the reasons the male individual was detained, but APD did detain the two females, right? It was an APD arrest on a warrant charge?
Yeah, they each had warrants for their arrest, and we arrested them.
What were the names of those two female individuals?
I don't have their names here.
To clarify, when the report came in that the suspect was grabbing for a gun, was he reaching for his own weapon or that of the ICE agent?
It appeared as though he was grabbing or touching or doing whatever with the agent's weapon.
So it was a single agent by himself?
My understanding is initially it was one agent, and then that's when the second agent was responding and calling 911 as well, looking for us, knowing that we would likely get there pretty quick.
Do we know what the women were doing that caused the ICE agents to raise a red flag that they might have warrants?
Some level of verbal interaction with them as they were trying to effect their arrest.
Does ICE usually notify APD when they're planning arrests or detentions?
No, ICE is a federal agency that has full jurisdiction in the city of Austin, and they are not required to let us know ahead of time. We serve on several task forces that have federal agents on them. These are agents from the FBI, the DEA, and ICE as well. So there are times that we work with all of our federal partners when it involves crime. But that is not a requirement that they let us know when they're coming in this city nor any other city across the country to do their job.
Do you know if the person that was taken in had a criminal record in Austin?
I do not know the identity of the person that was taken into custody today, so I have no information on their background or why ICE was arresting them today.
Chief, can you comment on whether this morning's incident was part of a larger crackdown that ICE is doing here in Austin at this time in the last couple hours, last day or two?
Again, I've heard the stories that are out there. They don't check in with us. They don't have to check in with us, so I don't know if ICE is operating at a higher or lower level than they have in months and years past.
Has ICE been communicating with APD about individuals who are wanted for crimes? Have they been communicating with APD about that for maybe the past week at all?
There's nothing different. Again, we serve on federal task forces, and if any of our partners have information on someone who is wanted for a crime, then that is something that we're interested in if it's work that we're doing through one of our task forces.
And have they been doing work through those task forces this week at all?
Not to any greater or lesser level than we do regularly.
The agent was injured. I'm not sure if you mentioned it, but just
Yes, yes, thank you for bringing that up. But yes, the agent actually was transported to the hospital for treatment after the arrest.
What was the extent of his injury?
I don't know. You'd have to check with ICE on that.
A lot of the community is they have fear of taking their children to school. Can you say that it could be safe for this community so they're not going to be targeted by the Austin Police Department?
As the Austin Police Department is absolutely 100% focused on the safety of everyone who lives in Austin, regardless of your citizenship status. So when you see this uniform, this patch, this badge, this is a department that is here for the safety of all of our citizens, regardless of your citizenship status.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.